Urban sustainability. Designing a city with consideration to the environmental impacts of the waste and influx exiting and entering the city. This refers to different ways of planning a city, including things like transit, carbon emissions, green space, and farm-grown foods. Amongst other things, we're interested in green space adding to urban sustainability by using urban spaces for agricultural purposes. Community gardens reduce the distance food travels to the city, therefore cutting down a city's carbon footprint. This is called farm-to-table or food-to-fork. Over the years, this has become very popular and the city has encouraged it with changes in zoning laws and the addition of green markets all over the city. Many cities are far ahead of New York City in terms of eco-planning, but lately New York City is trying to change for the better and catch up with other cities around the world.
Permaculture is a philosophy. It's also a design approach that was initiated by Bill Mollison and his partners in Australia. Permaculture is a shortening of words for permanent culture and permanent agriculture. As also Jane Jacobs, the famous urban planner, showed, it's often cities that initiate the innovation in agriculture. And today there's no exception. Often it is city dwellers who go out to the countryside and build the local farms, the organic or biodynamic farming practices, because of our concern for taste and health and our concern about disease, cancer, diabetes. We have become more aware that the industrial agriculture is not serving our needs in a satisfactory manner.
As Rune mentioned, permaculture, a word coined by Bill Mollison, is defined as the conscious design and maintenance of agriculturally productive ecosystems which have the diversity, stability, and resilience of natural ecosystems. It is the harmonious integration of landscape and people, providing their food, energy, shelter, and other material and non-material needs in a sustainable way. Without permanent agriculture, there is no possibility of a stable social order. In other words, permaculture is the study of redefining and rethinking urban and established spaces, both settled and agricultural, as ecological systems that must be balanced and brought to order to benefit all living beings. Permaculture in regards to urban development and sustainability is necessary because it pushes architects and city planners to rethink how agriculture can be integrated into the urban environment through the addition of things like community gardens and the catching of water from roof areas.
My name is Rune Kongshaw, and I'm a designer. I work in the field of sustainable design. I would say even resilient design, which is now a focus of many communities as they want to rebuild their social equity, their socioeconomic fabric, become more resilient in terms of energy, water, food, transportation, and these are all encompassing elements that need to work together. My inspiration from permaculture stems really from trying to close as many loops as possible and have a community work much like an ecosystem. Now we are redefining our food systems towards local. Organic has lost its meaning pretty much. But we want to get back to a holistic system which is based on respecting the local carrying capacity of your land and water resources.
Rune's firm, Productive, works with communities to build sustainable housing in cities throughout the world, his first being in Montreal, Canada. Rune is planning to build housing in New York City, specifically the Rockaways, in order to provide more resilient housing in the event of another disaster.
Well, New York City is a prime example of a city that is moving and making strides at becoming more sustainable. However, the notion of sustainability, designing, building, operating for future generations, is undergoing its own greenwashing. Sustainability has to go to a much more radical shift in behavior. New York will see green belts, green lanes, green corridors of growing, and underused tracts of land will have to be put to permaculture use, as well as investing in high-tech controlled environment solutions. All eyes are in New York. It's an old city though, so the infrastructure has to be reinvented. You know, sometimes places in the developing world or China, in those mega cities, have an advantage because they can leapfrog and just get it right. But does it make sense that we export water closets that we invented 200 years ago in London, Frankfurt, Paris, that then used to have very small populations and a lot of water? No, we are exporting the same obsolete systems to parts of the world that has absolutely no water at all. So we got to reinvent infrastructure, and New York is no exception. Thanks to Superstorm Sandy, it's like we are witnessing a shift in mentality. So suddenly now, other movements like self-help housing, community gardening, the Occupy movement, there's a lot of different movements now that are conspiring towards building local resilient network. I think that is an opportunity for New York to work on the top-down as well as the grassroots top-down and bottom-up. You know, this is sort of a first time in history that the interests are aligned between political will and a will from communities to get engaged in really becoming resilient and more productive, create jobs, and become truly self-sufficient on the local level. There's no place in New York where you have so many skills and interests assembled in a small geographical vicinity. So here we have an opportunity to demonstrate, create jobs, and define a whole new sector of the economy where you have these operators of highly efficient ecological systems, ecosystems that can guarantee really what I prefer, rather than say sustainability, is to say sustainable prosperity.
I am the person that drives the product to the farm, from the farm to the market, and I sell the product here at the market. I think that a lot of people in our culture are very disconnected with where their food comes from, and part of what the farmers market does is help people to understand how their food is produced and how important it is to support farmers in order to get food to their plate.
Projecting in the future, I mean, we could only hope for increased participation in more markets, and maybe, I mean, this isn't really our mission as a non-profit organization, but we do have examples in Brooklyn, like Bushwick Gardens or Brooklyn Grange, where they're converting old spaces like big box stores and using their roof spaces to cultivate agriculture. But it's also a huge educational tool. We tremendously expand the New York City public school system if agriculture was, a key part of their curriculum.
Urban sustainability begins with the young. School gardens give children a chance to explore the outdoors. Additionally, they learn both inside and outside of the classroom about the methods of planting, decomposing, and creating a sustainable environment, even in an urban city. Through the hands-on experience in the garden, the children are able to apply what they learn in a meaningful way. They learn about the difficulty in planting and the need to wait for plants to grow. They also learn about healthy food choices, like eating a lot of fruits and vegetables. The students bring the material and information they have learned in school back home and share it with their families, which allows for them to have an impact on their community as well. Hopefully, the education of urban sustainability to children and school gardens can inspire the community and its people to build their own gardens and to be more environmentally friendly in their everyday activities as well. In this way, it is ensured that the desire to create a sustainable city continues to spread and grow until this goal is achieved.